Did you catch the latest news about Caitlin Clark? It's official time for the haters to kiss the ring, give their flowers, and stop denying the undeniable greatness of Caitlin Clark. We all knew it, but now we have the proof. She is, without a doubt, the driving force behind the WNBA's success. In fact, it's clear now that she owns this league. In light of this revelation, the WNBA brass might as well change the name to the Caitlin Clark Basketball Association because it's hers now. Brace yourself for these jaw-dropping numbers that have left the haters and some media personalities in complete disarray. But first, hit like if you've always known that Caitlin Clark was the key to the WNBA's success. Ready for the shocking numbers? A recent report from the Indianapolis Star revealed the staggering economic impact Caitlin Clark has had on the WNBA. Dr. Ryan Brewer, a renowned valuation expert, estimated that Clark accounts for a jaw-dropping 26.5% of the WNBA's total economic activity. This includes attendance, merchandise sales, and TV viewership. One player, driving more than a quarter of the league's total revenue? Absolutely insane. And when you break the numbers down further, they get even more incredible. Clark's games alone are responsible for 1 out of every 6 tickets sold to a WNBA game. Her games are watched.
I know I'll go down in history. I'll look back in 20 years and be like, yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person, it's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize that.
200% more than those in which she doesn't play. Even more staggering, 45% of the TV broadcast value is tied to Fever games. We all felt the energy, but now it's officially proven Caitlin Clark is carrying this league on her back, and the critics? They're in full-blown damage control mode. The hate began the moment Caitlin started putting up those insane numbers. People began to say
just more love and peace. I would say that's the biggest thing. I think there's just so much hate in the world right now. I think just everybody appreciating everybody for who they are and loving on one another. I think that's how I've always tried to go about my life and how I was raised.
Things like, sure, Angel Reese, but someone is driving all the revenue, and it's not you. Caitlin wasn't just a highlight reel, she was a movement. But some simply couldn't handle it. They ignored the facts right in front of their faces, trying to diminish her role and belittle her impact on the league's success. While Caitlin was generating millions in revenue, there were still critics trying to downplay her contributions, saying she wasn't the only reason the WNBA was thriving. Let's be real, every time Caitlin hit the floor, you knew you were witnessing history, and those same critics knew it too. They secretly hoped her shine would dim, but Caitlin, like a honey badger, didn't care. She kept breaking ankles, setting records, and proving the doubters wrong. The more they hated, the more she dominated. What makes Caitlin
Also, she generated $36 million for the city of Indianapolis. You can look it up.
Even more dangerous is that she thrives under pressure. You can try to talk trash, throw shade, but Caitlin just takes it and shoves it right back in your face, usually with a three-pointer from way beyond the arc. The more they doubted her, the bigger she became. Now, the data has officially proven her immense impact, and all the haters have been exposed. But here's one more blow to the critics. Caitlin Clark's influence has also been estimated to have generated $36 million in economic impact for the city of Indianapolis. Did you see the latest news about Caitlin Clark? It's time for the critics to step aside and acknowledge the undeniable greatness of Caitlin Clark. For anyone who doubted her influence, the proof is in the numbers, and it's clear now, she is the heartbeat of the WNBA. In fact, if anyone deserves a key to the city of Indianapolis, it's Caitlin, no questions asked. She's not just a player, she's been fueling the city's economy, with hotels, restaurants, shops, and even Uber drivers all benefiting from her presence. Forget paying for anything in Indianapolis ever again. Caitlin should be a permanent resident. Now, with all this incredible data proving her worth, we have to ask, how is it possible for a player to have such an enormous impact on the league and still receive a salary that's the same as an assistant manager at Costco? Caitlin's the WNBA Employee of the Month every month, and yet her annual pay from the league is only $76,000. It's mind-boggling. While she's being hailed as one of the top-earning female athletes, with a major chunk of her income coming from endorsements, the league is still stuck in the past. If they won't make an exception for her salary, they should at least make her a partner in the league after all, she already owns it. Imagine what would happen if Caitlyn decided to leave the WNBA. The league would be toast. Don't believe me? Just look at what's happening with the new women's league, Unrivaled. Caitlyn was offered a massive deal by them but chose to decline it. Why? Because she'd rather play golf and yell at refs at Iowa basketball games. But what happened next? Kelsey Plum followed suit and left within a week, and the interest in the league quickly evaporated. Google Trends showed a huge spike in league interest when fans thought Caitlyn might join, but once she didn't, the excitement flatlined. The only thing keeping the interest alive? Caitlyn, of course. In her first year, Caitlyn alone was responsible for 26% of the WNBA's economic value. Meanwhile, Unrivaled, despite its best efforts, is struggling to generate the same buzz without her. Fans would rather watch Caitlyn shine than tune in to an upstart league that lacks the same level of star power. And now that the facts are crystal clear, how will the haters respond? Who knows? But one thing is certain, the WNBA's leadership must recognize Caitlyn's impact and stop undermining her influence. The league's future depends on her, and the numbers speak for themselves. If Caitlyn was to get injured or leave, it would crush ratings. Her games draw 200% more viewers than those without her. The WNBA brass needs to send a clear message: don't mess with Caitlyn. And don't be surprised if we start seeing more recognition of Caitlyn's role in the league's success. Disrespecting her is no longer an option. When you generate $36 million in local economic impact and account for a quarter of the league's revenue, it's impossible to ignore the truth. Caitlyn's greatness was evident from day one: single-season assist records, Rookie of the Year honors, and leading her team to the playoffs. Her star power has always been obvious, and it's time the entire league acknowledges it.